Well, welcome to the city council meeting, Troy City Council Room, September 25th, 2024. 6 o'clock. Let's do the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. To the flag which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and Okay, moving on to public comments on matters on the agenda on this. There will be a 3-minute time on comments. And one comment per person that is making a comment. So if anybody has anything to say.
Well, my name is Ed Apple. I was just curious. Most departments have a chain of command, and when like the chief of police or the leaves, the next ranking officer moves up. Why wasn't that the case here? I mean, we'd have had a police chief interim all this time.
Yep, there was an ask to appoint a police chief. It wasn't backed up, like I was voted on. As a police, you'd have to ask these guys.
There is
Thought it
a
was.
hiring process.
Thought it was.
It's not just a next person.
Well, if you go off of what the last ones have been,
Yes,
it is that way. There was no hiring process on the last chief.
Somebody should have been appointed intern until the hiring decision was made, so there wasn't a vacancy of chief of police. Every department I've worked at, every department I've seen since the history of mankind, that's what they've done. So, or since Sir Robert Peel established modern policing.
That way you don't have that open position. They're still probationary regardless, but
Or even just interim.
Yeah, there's up to 12 months. I did have somebody in higher power that knows a little bit more than I did tell me to go to 18 months. According to this, it's 12 months.
you're talking about probationary.
Yeah.
Yeah. That 18 is standard.
Yeah, it was 12 to 18 months is what I was, but then I was reading through some of this and it's a 12-month. Anybody else?
Yeah, Chuck. Question, I'm kind of behind the 8 ball on this, but is my understanding that a process for hiring has already been done? That there's been applicants, that there's been decisions made?
There's been an interview panel and everything.
And
Everybody's interviewed.
if they didn't choose any of those candidates, then obviously what chosen them in an interview, what decisions are made? We have an interim chief. Why is he not being hired? Is he not qualified for the position, or what's the deal?
He's qualified for the position.
Okay, so why hasn't he been hired?
I asked to have him appointed as chief.
Okay, the council, why? What is his qualifications that prevent you from going? We have problems in this town that need addressed. We need police. It's time to go dragging our feet.
Joe, what could be addressed by having the council saying, all right, Travis, you're the chief, now let's do everything different than what you've been doing. Those problems are here now, and he's the interim.
Katie Davis was.
No, he's the interim chief right now.
I gave him the powers of being the chief when this.
For the last
came down, last 3 months, because it's supposed to fall over on me to be the chief. And I'm not an officer, I don't know the rules on that,
Okay.
they know the rules better than I do. They chose to have Travis
Okay.
take that position.
Well, I can tell you, since we've opened, we've had nothing but problems with thieves and stuff like that. And I can tell you with what I've witnessed in the past with the previous chief and what I've witnessed now with the interim chief, I got a heck of a lot of service from him than I ever did with previous administration.
But what's gonna change between, he's still a police officer, whether he's a chief or not, you're not gonna change with that. Like his powers aren't gonna change, whether he's just a.
Then why aren't we hiring him?
Also,
What's
in
his next
everybody's defense, in Katie's defense, she never was the chief of the new store. There's a lot changed at your place.
I've been following the stage and I watching everything that is going on from the legal point of view.
I'm not, okay?
Hey, we're having a discussion up here.
So at the end,
Katie did the best job.
At the end of the day,
As
a police department takes its directives from its police chief. No matter what those directives in, and I'm not gonna say I won't badmouth anybody, what I would say is we were instructed to police a certain way under our previous administration. It wasn't as aggressive as other officers on the department wanted. And with a new chief and a new administration, we already have plans to put into motion to be a more aggressive police department. With that coming from the administration, the mayor, the new city attorney, we have things. It's gonna take more than an intern chief giving 3 months to clean up a problem that festered over 7 to 8 years. And I've been here 11 years, and I've worked under several chiefs. I've had one extremely proactive chief, and that was Alan Dodd, who went out there and went, go do the Lord's work. And we had a very clean Troy then. You're as strong as your administration. Nothing negative to Katie. Katie is one of my friends, and I love Katie. But we have more of an aggressive under our ideas we've come up with together to work more as a team, have more transparency within our own department amongst each other.
And also, I just got to talking to a guy from the state that was a law enforcement, 34 years, retired chief of police, and Henry just got done talking to one of the drug task force guys out of Kalispell, and the drug task force guy, told Henry, hey, you need a task force to clean up the town. It's not one guy just out here alone. And so we're working on a plan for that. Also, it takes money to clean up this stuff too. And that guy that I talked to from the state goes, is your town going to give you guys the money that's going to take to clean up that a drug problem? It's not something that just gets, okay, you're the intern for a couple months. Why isn't the town cleaned up now?
And at the end of the day, no matter who's chief, unless the courts get a little bit more stern, it's gonna be whack-a-mole. I don't care, he's convicted, you can look it up in the public record. We have two arrested Travis Zimmerman.
About 13 times.
Yeah, personally, probably at number 9 or 10. I have seen him get 8 or 10 slaps on the hand from our court system and sent right back out where he stole a boat, got released, and then a week later, went out and sold the same boat. And those charges were never pursued. So it's whack-a-mole. I'm sorry, at the end of the day, no matter where you live, it's whack-a-mole until the courts get a little bit stricter. It is what it is. We arrest them, we have nothing to do with the conviction or the trial. So if they come back out and they're stealing junk, and they're out stealing junk a week later, guys, that irritates us too.
So, Chuck, to finish my point, what Katie did is what Katie did. With regards to Travis Pfefferman, as far as town pump goes, I have 3 things in fire right now. Police department, I'm gonna assume that I can't talk about those things. One of them was incredibly serious today. Which Officer Travis came over, he's got the reports and stuff. One thing I can make public is that our legal department is in the process of banning Mr. Pfefferman permanently from every town location in the state of Maine. So I'm just waiting on all of that paperwork to come through, and then the department, the sheriff's department, Libby Police, they may even want me to take over Dodge Ferry. I don't know. Anyway, coming back to my original statement is why haven't we acted on having a chief? I mean, interim is not good enough if these other applicants fail to meet the council's expectations. What are we doing? You know, if there is a task force that wants to have a plan, then how is an interim chief gonna work with that if you guys hire a different chief or whatever? And that chief decides to go a different direction, and there's money, time, effort spent for nothing. And if there is a 1 calendar year probationary period, and Travis or anybody else doesn't work, you can get somebody else. Let's get the ball moving. Right now, we have a bad problem with stuff. A lot of it winds up on my doorstep.
You're preaching to the choir.
So, anyway, that's it for me.
Okay, yep, go ahead.
Joe, back to your comments about, there being interviews and stuff, a process already started. Yes, it was, because we didn't know we needed to go through a police commission. So as soon as we got through all the interviews, we found out we had to do the police commission. That delayed things, and so that's kind of where we're at the moment. Okay, I guess.
Go ahead.
Okay, now, Travis went to school here, he was raised here, he knows everybody. The people that you're interviewing, they don't know what goes on in this town. Travis does. And I think that's a big part of it right there. So,
The flip side of that is somebody coming from out of town isn't friends with, or dad didn't go to school with, or you didn't.
It's irrelevant. Completely irrelevant.
It can be looked at from either end.
Yeah.
No favoritism with somebody
Yeah.
out of town. I know what you're saying there. Yeah.
And I mean, let's face it, Troy's not a huge metropolitan. How long does it take to meet people and know the town?
I was a transplant. It took this town about 1.5 years, 2 years to embrace fully.
That was the
Let's
important
get her.
thing, that was.
And somebody coming in, day and age, anybody coming in, that's gonna be a cop. It is what it is. It's the nature of the game. If this was any other department within the city, we wouldn't be going through this right now. That's just the truth. It's the truth.
Can I say something?
Yep.
My husband's actually responsible for bringing him to the police department from the county. And Alan is a very good judge of who is a great cop, who will make a great cop, and who will do the work and be calm about it, not get heated, because nothing can heat Alan up. Nothing. And he has prisoners thanking him, hugging him after he's arrested them. And I think he came to our house, and when he left, he said, I want this man to come and be a police officer in Troy. This is his home. He's not getting treated like he should be treated in the county. And he needs to come here and be a cop. He would be one of the best cops this town has ever seen. So he was brought here for this purpose, to be your chief. But he came, I guess Katie had been here longer, and I don't know what happened there. And Katie was ready to take the job. And Alan wanted out of full-time work. I mean, he is old. And
He doesn't act like it.
no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He'd be here tonight, but we both had company that brought us a nice virus, so he's about 3 days behind me. But yeah, he's supposed to be chief. And I don't know what the holdup is. I don't understand it. I think there's too much power in all of our government, even in city council. This is who the city wants.
I'd like to make a comment on an outside chief. The thing about an outside chief, yes, you can have somebody who could come in with a different type of experience, but they're a wild card. You don't know exactly how they're gonna operate, how they're gonna chief, how they're going to, what type of a leader they are. The thing with Travis is he's worked for the city 8 years now. 8 years. So basically, and I heard somebody else say this, that's basically his resume right there, you know, that he's worked with the department. And I do know there was certain things that they couldn't do because the previous I hate to say administration, but it's as they mentioned, you have somebody different in control, they do things differently. There's you have somebody come from the outside, you also have to take the rate of pay here. It's dismal. Just about starting wages at a fast food joint in Kalispell. You know, it's just, if you have somebody coming from the outside coming here, unless they're retiring and they're just doing it for giggles and grins, you know, I would question somebody who would come here and take on the job for the rate of pay. It's just not very much. So
I think Travis is here because he loves it. He
Yeah.
loves this town,
and he wants to clean it up, and he wants to, you know, he wants to do right by the town. So
I know he's been doing a few extra things going on that most people don't get to know about, for.
and he's more visible than I've seen any of the police officers in the last. And I look for him because you don't ever see him on the roads. Travis is out, stop talking to people, and that's a nice to see that.
I'd like to add too, in this last 3 months that he's taken on as interim chief, he's had to train himself. He's taken on the administrative duties because I think he got 4 or 8 hours with Katie.
I had 2 days on the thumb drive.
So he's learning he's learning the process while doing his regular responsibilities, while being an officer short. So you guys who are saying, you know, it's been 3 months, why hasn't there been a difference? Take into consideration that they've been working a lot of overtime. Being short an officer, you're going to burn up overtime, and you also burn through. It's just tiring, you know. It's tough, and so you have that to consider. They haven't been able to hire their 4th officer until this chief position is decided. You have somebody coming from the outside, then they're out of state. So I think that factors into the academy, challenging the academy. And are they here? You know, if they're out of state. So there's so many things to consider that not a lot of people know. I know because I'm married to him. So, you know, I get to hear some of the challenges that I'm allowed, you know. I can't hear everything, but some of it I can, and there's a lot of people that don't know. Thank you.
And wait a second. Go back on something you said. There has been a difference. I mean, Katie's been great, chief. She's done great. But if you look at the call outs they've done, the assists they've been doing, there is more going on now than there has been. And like I say, there is more going on a different level that nobody knows about and really can't do nothing about until something happens. And then everybody gets to hear about it. Just like the arrests and the call outs on them. You get to hear about it when it happens. Not before.
I was just talking to one of the deputies, you know, we were talking roadside the other day, and you know, he said a lot of people have this misconception that all the drug dealers in town just drive around with bricks of dope in their car and we're just pull them over and everything. But really, it's like fishing, man. You could go out for a week and not catch anything. You might go out for a week and catch a few small ones you have to throw back, you know. And you might put your mother low. You don't know. It's the same here. You pull people over weeks, months, not getting anything. You might pull them over and just get some drug paraphernalia or a baggie with some residue in it and everything, and then you get maybe some good intel. You get a good traffic stop, and man, there it is. You have it. And so it's not like it's and then people think, well, how come you aren't doing something with my neighbor's house over here? You know, there's people going in and out all the time. Montana's an enhanced right to privacy state. We can't just go kick someone's door in because the neighbor said there's a bunch of people coming in and out of there. You gotta build a case. Sometimes that case takes a while, and sometimes that's working with other agencies that have more intel than we have and coordinating something. And then I can tell you, I think I counted the other day, about 10 that we've been in people's houses, working with the sheriff's department, the drug task force, and cars and stuff like that. And sometimes when we get those, it was like, oh, God. And then there's times where you're spending time building the case.
I was night shift with the drug task force that whole weekend. They were in Troy. There were multiple arrests made. I worked with them every single night they were here. We had one guy going to fight. He went to fight. He fought us. We got drugs off of him. The whole 9 yards, resisting, obstructing. He was out the next day. Out the next day.
But you can't police with that mindset.
No, you can't.
No.
We don't. But I'm saying, to back up what he was saying, these things take time. It takes time to build a case on somebody, especially in this state. I came from a state to this one thinking, okay, I'm going to be able to do a lot more law enforcement wise. But I will outright say it, and I don't say this very often, but it was easier to be a cop in California. It was 100% easier to be a cop in California. Yeah, especially in regard to the drugs and the search and seizure, 100% easier. Here, when I got here and was taught the difference by bottom out of things I absolutely could not do, I was thrown back and I was like, man, okay. And had to start over and learn almost to be a cop all over again. And it's hard. Drug investigations are hard. It's hard. It takes time and energy. And like I said earlier, you can't clean up a drug problem as 3 months as intern chief, because we've been spending more time trying to figure out the day-to-day and what's going on together as a unit, backing up Travis, doing what he needs us to do, doing what he needs me to do as the sergeant, what he needs to do as the only regular officer we have in this town. So we're up against a learning curve, and we have to go out and do our jobs, work extra hours, handle our family life. I was injured last week and was told by the doctor I couldn't work for a week. These two had to pick up that slack 100%, where if we were fully staffed, it would have just been business as usual. But instead, they each worked a couple of double shifts. Nobody sees the hours and the things we do in the background, and like Chuck said, everything that in the background. There's more than just driving around, pulling people over, and giving tickets. There's a lot more that we do. Everything we do entails paperwork. If anybody would ever like to come up and see what one report and paperwork that we have to do entails, I'd be more than happy to show you. It's a DUI, for instance. If I go out and get a DUI tonight, I'm on 4 hours total, not including my report. So there's a lot more that goes on to this job. And like I said, we're working extra hours. We have a grant shift that we're all working that nobody realizes, but behind the scenes of our 40 hours a week, we're all required to work an extra 60 hours on this grant of time that was put in when we had 4 officers. So now we have 3 people doing what was supposed to be for 4. And instead of having 20 hours of the grant this year, we each had, 61 hours on top of our 40 hours a week and juggling our home life. So in the grand scheme of things, I think we're doing pretty good under his leadership.
Amen.
Good.
Hey, Travis, you know I like you to death. I'm being the devil's advocate here. We know we have to hire another officer. You do a great job, but as your wife just said, you're still learning the position. You're learning how to do this. You're learning how to do this. If the city were to bring somebody in that already knew all of that and could teach all of that,
They won't know it.
and say,
They won't.
bring somebody in that had drug task force knowledge, that had knowledge of this, that could teach you that stuff. Say they were here 3 years. Would you feel better about knowing what they know?
No, see, so let me clarify. So when I was at the sheriff's department, I worked there for 17 years. So I was a sergeant, I was a lieutenant, I was a captain. I have administrative experience. All the stuff that I've been doing up here is no different than what I did as a captain at the sheriff's department. There's only two differences. One, I didn't write grants, which there's grant writing schools, that's a learned skill. And two, I didn't do the budget because the sheriff's department did the budget, or the undersheriff did the budget for the whole entire department. Those are the only two things. When I talk about learning stuff on the day to day, it's just that I got handed a thumb drive and said, here you go. And so it's going through those things, and things will pop up once in a while. It's like, oh, okay, I wasn't shown this. So it's been as easy as a phone call, and yeah, this is what you're looking at. Like, okay, and then I do. So it's not that I don't have administrative experience, and it's not that I'm not qualified to do this job. I have most places in Montana 5 years experience as a patrol officer to be considered chief. Okay, so I have 8 here. I have 17 working in the jail over there as an administrator, and I have instructor development school. I have leadership schooling. I have a whole pile of schooling that's on my resume. And so it's not that I don't know this stuff. It's just that when you get handed something, there's a process of getting a process going. You know, I mean, learning what you're doing real quick, and then you're off and going. The only thing that we're waiting on right now is we got a 4th officer that we need to hire, so we're not short-staffed.
Once we get fully staffed, I've already spoke with Chuck, and Travis, and I. To help him, one of the things I've taken over is scheduling. And I have it set up for 12-hour shifts where the city will go from no more call-out time, 0 call-out time, to we will have 24-hour day coverage through the city. We'll be working 12-hour shifts, we'll reduce burnout. And the city will be covered 24 hours, and we will be the only city in northwestern Montana that has 24-hour day coverage. The only city.
I actually have 3 questions. If you had to let your son go, would you be able to do that?
Yeah, but it'd be up to the mayor.
So let's put that to sleep too.
Yeah,
I'm the sergeant of this police department. If Michael needs to be disciplined and Michael has disciplinary actions to address,
I'm out.
I will take
Yeah,
that,
that's
and I
Chuck.
will do the same thing Travis would do. I will take the complaint, I will investigate it, I will bring it to my mayor, and I'll bring it to the city attorney, and I will handle any and all discipline. If in the likely event it happens with Michael, which I would probably wager a month's salary it wouldn't. I think he may, in the 5 years he's been here, have received a complaint that was investigated, and after I went over body camera, was deemed a complete and utter lie.
And that was under me.
And that wasn't under Travis. This was several years back. I'll handle any and all discipline that comes with Michael, and I'll bring it to Chuck. Yeah, so there will be no nepotism.
I can't be involved in the mayor.
That's why we have a rank, and that's why we have a sergeant in the police department. I will handle any and all discipline for officers that come in before it even goes to him. And if I deem it worthy to go to him, it will go to him, because that's how the chain of command works.
Well, if it comes in, it goes straight to him. I don't even get to review it.
Unless it involves me, then it goes straight to the chief and the mayor. But any complaints on officers, reserves or otherwise, they come to me.
Okay. And the probationary period, is there a list of requirements for that, or things that need to be met, or is it just?
It's just probationary period, make sure they're doing their job right. If we choose they're not doing their job right, and we can recommend a different route to the chief. We can take the chief's position away.
So I'd like to say that when I take a look at this whole situation, and I look at 3 officers, it's them that's got to put their life on the line when they're doing their duty. They go out and get a meth head that knows that if he commits one more crime, he can qualify for bipolar disorder and get a disability check if it's violent enough and it's under the mental health guidelines that allow them to qualify to do so. The meth heads are back on the street as fast as they arrest them, yet these guys are the first ones for the last 90 days
that have put their butt in the line, dealing with this kind of crap on a regular basis. They've had to go home to their wives for the last 90 days. Do we have a stable family life yet? No, nobody can make up their mind of what needs to be done. The fact that they've done this for the last 90 days will outdo any political correct resume from an out-of-stater. I mean that with all of my heart. You won't find a better bunch of guys with integrity and a team of people that want to work together. Every one of our police officers want Travis to be chief. Every one of our police officers work together. We've got the chance to secure operation officers that want to work together with a passion to make Troy a better place. There's no way we should ever stand in the way of that. We should actually support the people that have actually put their butt on the line. That's more integrity than you'll ever find on any resume of some butt kisser from out of town. That's all I gotta say. Yeah.
Mayor Eckstein, can I just ask you one question? The council, they work for you, correct? Are you not the head boss?
I work for them.
No, no.
No.
You are the
When,
boss.
I'll tell you right now, on
You
an
are
different aspect of the
them.
mayor, I have more power here than I have here.
Well, I'm telling you, I've seen it different since I've been here. That the mayor has the last say, Darren Caldwell. Don Vanny.
So
Are you
there's
not in
different ways
control
it
of
was
your-
ran by that. I mean, seriously, when it come down to it, the prior mayors, when they said that's what they wanted, they got their way.
Mhm.
They didn't have a fight.
That's
And
the way it
but
should
after
be.
I became mayor and went from council to mayor is when I found out what the mayor really has the right to do.
Well,
It's not what everybody thinks.
I'm
The mayor
saying
is
somebody
not
has to
the
stand up and
rule
say,
at all.
this is what we're doing, and we're gonna try this for 1 year. And then we will move forward if it doesn't work. And you have 4 people here that are dragging their toes and saying, no, we're not doing this, we're gonna do exactly what we want. And I don't think that's right.
I think they were all voted in, and this is.
I know they were all
Everybody's
voted
voted in.
in.
Everybody up here is.
They weren't voted
in.
by me
And-
because
And
we
I
don't
gotta
get to
also
vote
say,
outside
nobody
the
gets
city.
paid up here. Everybody
That's
up here is because they love their
They
job.
love their job.
And there's a process they have to go through. It isn't like just a whim. They have to go through a process. It's not just,
necessarily.
yes,
Yes,
actually they do.
we just didn't do it for years.
That is what they
Yes,
have to do.
and that's it right there. There is a process that none of us knew. I mean,
I think
prior
Steve
council,
was the one that
prior,
said you need the
I
police.
mean, nobody knew this was supposed to be done until after this go around. There's been stuff that was done back in the day that was just appointed, said, hey, this is what it is, and everybody went with it. Nobody questioned it. It just was what they went with. Right now, we found out by the questioning of certain things, there's a process that we didn't know about, that we haven't had to do the process. It's just what it is.
So, are you about done with the process? Or where we at? You know?
From what I get, Travis was the chief for 12 months. If the 12 months is up and you haven't hired somebody, he's the chief. Is that right?
No,
No.
no. He has to be voted in. I can give him an appointment all the time and say, hey, you're gonna give me the next.
Months to get this process done.
He would be voted in, he would be our chief of police, it would be on a 12-month probationary period, where if at that time, the mayor and the council feels he didn't do an adequate job, you're gonna be,
We call it.
give an excuse, you call it, you just tell them, sorry, this isn't working, and there's no, it's the standard 1 year period of any law enforcement officer has, and if we just had him as intern chief for 12 months, and not being able to hire and get back on fully staffed up with 4. I'm not doing these hours for him. I'm not doing what I'm doing. I'm not doing the schedule. I'm not doing what I'm doing for the next 12 months. I'll tell you that right now. I won't do it. I won't work the hours I'm working and deteriorate my health.
There's another rumor that I've been hearing that Michael has applied for the highway patrol.
I don't know if he did. He was charming. And if it's true, yeah, if it's true.
I wouldn't say it was a rumor because it was stated in the last council meeting.
So we're gonna be looking for two off.
Possibly, maybe, he's just not gonna take the gamble of being on a,
I applied for that before I knew we got the grant, because the grant was up in a year. I didn't know we were gonna get it or not, so I was covering my butt, having job security.
cause he's a husband and he has 3 children, including a 5-6 month old baby, 8 month old baby, so I fully understand why he would do that. I would do it if my position was dependent on a grant as well,
No, I understand.
so.
Are you allowed to speak only once?
You got something important?
Um,
We'll listen.
I'm just listening to all this thinking, if we have the money to hire another officer, potentially 2, then why on this planet Earth is the council dragging their feet so that we can get the coverage we need in this town?
The grant just come through. We all just found out about the grant last week.
We did.
There was, that's all been up in the air.
We just can't make open the position until we find out what's going on with the
I
chief.
didn't know as a business person how inadequately we have been covered in this town. This is ridiculous.
They've been doing actually a lot of overtime to cover this now.
Council needs to think about that, because with the overtime pay, we can add another officer. We can afford that as a town. Come on, guys.
It's not really a council thing, they gotta go through the steps.
It's getting laid on the council, but
Oh, it's been 3 months. As the council, you guys should have known this.
My understanding is that the police commission's already made their 2 choices.
Well, then let's get on the ball here.
That's the way I'm understanding it. The police commission has already certified the final 2 applicants, and it's just up to the mayor, per his power through the state, making his determination on who he wants to be the chief of police of his town, and then the city council approving them. And ultimately, the mayor can approve it on his own, but it is his choice who he wants to be. I have never seen this happen. I spoke to the president of the Police Officers Protective Association that we're members of, who's coming down with a meeting with us, who in his years, 30-something years of help with Helena PD and Lewis and Clark County Sheriffs, has never seen it handled like this before. So we have him coming in for a meeting, because I did reach out to him.
So if there's 2 people, let's pick the most qualified.
Well,
And Chuck chose Travis,
It's like it's the.
and Chuck made his decision for his nomination of Travis.
Okay, so what's the holdup? Because they want this qualified up. Okay, so have you already reviewed the applications? And who's the most qualified? I mean, that's a no-brainer decision. I hire people and not hire people all the time. This person qualified, this person not. Okay, it's hired. Let's figure it out.
At least give us a reason why you're not.
Yeah.
You know what, once again, I'll use Libby as a perfect example. When Darren Short was supposed to be the next chief and won the election and didn't take over as chief of Libby, when what was his name, retired? No, when the police chief, Libby police chief there,
Smith,
Jim Smith, when he retired, Darren was supposed to take over but won the sheriff's election. They hired and brought in Scott Kessler, who looked amazing on paper. From Seattle PD, looked amazing on paper, had all these qualifications. He came in, and in a 3-day period, his whole police department, except 1 officer, resigned. Up and left. We're talking about 1 officer who worked here with me for his first 5 years. He was one of the best cops I know. One of the most loyal people I know. All 3 of the guys that went with them is one of our current reserves right now, who is a good dude. And they quit because he came in and it was a complete and utter tyrant, and they voiced their concerns to their mayor and city council, and they didn't listen to their officers. Libby PD is barely fully staffed right now with a bunch of fresh new officers, with the exception of 1 one gentleman that came in from California who is helping their current chief try to get all of these green officers. So they have all these young officers and still have to have the sheriff's department come and help these because these officers aren't fully ready because they're brand new officers. So Libby's law enforcement was in complete turmoil because they brought someone in who was shiny on paper, the best applicant, passed up on a few guys that were there that probably should have got the job, and that police department would have just kept going successfully. So you got to keep that in mind because I will tell you right now, I've been law enforcement 15 years, going on 16. I'm not breaking in time. I'll leave. I'll walk. And then you'll with what they pay here, good luck finding officer. I stay here because I love this town. I love this city. I coach. This is what I've made my home. This is where I want to be. This is where I want my son to graduate from. I have turned down probably about 6 job offers. But if we get an outside chief that comes in here and they're a tyrant, I'm done. I won't do it. I'm too old for it. I'm 45. I'm not breaking in a new.
What if you get one who's awesome?
So
He has one right here.
I have one right here. I never hit somebody. Sorry.
I have from the outside.
But not in the leadership I'm saying. I came in as an officer. I came into an administration that was promoted from within this department. And it was a administration under Bob McLeod. Bob was tough on some things and not tough on some of the others. Good guy, great guy to work for, amazing man to work for. But I came in as an outsider, not in a leadership position. So I didn't come in making policy, procedure, and trying to change the world. I was leery when Bob left and we brought in Alan. I didn't know Alan. I heard great things about Alan, and Alan is probably one of the most qualified people I've ever met in my life to do this job. That man has forgotten more about law enforcement than I probably will ever know, collectively up to the tree. And he is about the best chief up to this point that I think this city has ever seen. And unfortunately, we kind of lost our way with some of the things of work we were doing under Alan. We're lucky enough and blessed still to have him as our firearms guy. But
By the way, you haven't had any firearms training in 4 months.
yeah, we're out of low with that too, which we need to get back in with that.
Because we've been doing all this overtime.
Yeah, honestly, if I'm in a range day right now. But bottom line is, I've been in the big agencies. I've worked for the tyrants. I've had shining on paper supervisors. The only one I've ever seen work out that was a human being that came with all that was Alan. I mean, I'm not calling Travis a devil by any means, but stick with the devil you know. We know what we get with Big Trav. I know. I would walk into any situation with either one of these guys. I've given my life calls in these guys' hands, things we deal with that the general public doesn't even know some of the things that we've done and encountered, the decisions we've had to make. He is more than qualified for the job. And like I said, I'm probably the biggest person to have a problem with him being chief. Because I've been here 11 years and a lot of people are like, oh, well, you should have got the job. And I'm like, no, you know what? Chuck made his decision. He chose Travis. I'm going to support this dude right here and do what I have to do for him and this city and this police department. We don't need to go out. Folks, we have what we need here. Give him his probation. If it doesn't make it, cut him loose. Shit, I'll go with him. That's how confident I am. And just because he's the chief, you think we're going to leave him high to dry? Back him up on any decision he makes. Just like I did with every other administration I had. No matter if I believed in their philosophy, I did what I was told, but I backed up their play because that's what I had to do. That's what I'm going to do with him. Stick with the devil you know. Or the other one, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Might look like it is, but you get there and it's turf.
I thank you guys for what you've done. The hell that these people have put you through the last 3 months, I wouldn't wish on my own worst enemy. I just can't fathom for the life of me what is so wrong with taking something that works and giving it what it deserves.
We just want
And procedures, policy and procedure, Earl. That's why we can't just pick somebody we want. We have to follow Montana Code annotated. It's real easy to sit on that side of the table
and blame city council that we're not doing what you want. We have to follow policy and procedure, okay?
Nothing wrong with him saying he wants Travis and you say, okay, and
That's
that happens a lot.
That's not wrong. It doesn't.
We have to go to the police commission, we have to go.
Yeah, so at this point we have, okay, it's right, we did have to follow protocol and we have, we followed the protocol up to this point. And
We're following a different, we didn't know about first, at first, what we had to go.
they've gone through the police commission stuff, that's all been done, they certified the two applicants. And Chuck chose Travis.
So, yeah, what's
Go ahead,
Yeah.
if you want.
Can we kind of just do a quick overview of how, how we've gotten to where we're at, what has gone on?
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
I understand and remember, maybe correctly, so correct me if I'm wrong. The mayor has the right to appoint, or not appoint, but to recommend who he wants for the position. He went through his thoughts and decided he wanted to try and appoint Travis as interim after he had talked to several, the attorney,
MMIA,
MMIA, the human resources with MMIA. He brought that to council. They did not vote on that. So the next step was to get applicants and review those and select people to interview. He put together a panel. He didn't have to. He could have done it all on his own. He picked a panel to interview people. That occurred. I think they got down to two that they were, considering. And that's when it was determined or found out that they were supposed to go through the police commission. So the police commission's role was to take those applicants that were referred to by the mayor just to ensure that they could be certified for the position. That is my understanding where we're at, because in the last meeting, the police commission did say that both were able to be certified, right? So that's where we're at.
there was a process that we didn't
Yeah,
follow in the beginning, because we didn't know about it.
Right.
at first.
So,
we had to go back.
unfortunately, it has, extended the time period that it has taken.
And truthfully, I can appoint Travis as chief for the next year and 3 months. I think I have as this running mayor.
It's interim,
Yeah.
just as interim.
So what's the next?
So the next part is, everybody good then?
I think this lady had something she wanted to say.
I just don't understand. I know there's a process you have to go through, but I don't understand what you have against Travis to not hire him.
I don't think anything of
If
it.
he has anything.
That's Travis and Travis.
Process. That's what it sounds like.
Process.
It seems like the process is done. I think there's two people. So why can you not make your choice? If you have two people,
made
you've
a
made your
choice.
choice.
So let's just move on. I'm just gonna go on with it. I'm gonna ask for appointment for Travis with a probationary period of a year. In that, a year process from now, nothing's changed, like you guys have stated that's gonna change. We're gonna, I guess, review this again and would take the chief's position from you. That's what I'm asking the council to vote on tonight, is to have Travis as chief of police
Under probation.
under a probationary period of a year. So I'm gonna ask for a motion to accept Travis as a police chief with probation of a year.
I'm gonna make a motion that we do hire Travis on a probationary period of 1 year time. Things don't work out, we go back to the panel, we get some more applicants. Gotta solve this, get this figured out, so that's.
How's that sound? Very tough.
That's what, and so that's just my opinion, I'm only one person. Cause we did go out and we looked at some things,
We had some applicants, we had some interviews.
We had some really good
Somebody
applicants.
else- Yeah, we had some great, I'm telling you, you were a good one, okay? You had some other ones, some people backed out, some people wanted it. I'm for it, Travis, don't let me down. So,
So I have a motion there. Do I have a second to accept Travis as the chief of police on a probationary period of 12 months?
I have a question.
Yes.
So after the 12 months, if by chance Travis didn't suit our needs or whatever, and we decided to do something different, what would happen
I-
to his employment?
He would be, he wouldn't lose his job. He would lose his title as chief. He would step down and be an officer.
And at that point, his seniority would, what we would have to tell the person coming in with a grant, his seniority would bump them from that position.
correct.
But if we're having to hire a fourth officer, if we hire a fourth not as a chief, but as an officer, and it doesn't work out here, then what do we do? Because we have 4 officers and nobody will appoint as a chief.
We would have to go out to hire the chief.
We
With,
have the
with the
officers.
grant that we got, it's paying for that fourth officer. If we don't have the money to pay for a fourth officer, we don't have one. We would let the ranking officer go.
Okay, but that didn't answer my question, because we would still be stuck without a chief.
No,
Until you-
no, then we go back to the we'd have to go back to the process
Same
of
thing we
hiring
just did.
on, interviews would have to come out. We'd have to do interviews again and then go from there to have another chief.
Because everyone keeps saying we're short staffed, so if we hire a fourth officer within that 1-year period, and during that 1-year probation, it doesn't work out as Travis, then we have 4 officers, one would be the chief, if it didn't work out as chief, then he just retains as an officer, but then of those 4, we still don't
The
have a
lowest
chief.
rank.
We still have to go out for chief again.
The lowest ranking officer.
So would lose his job.
Yes.
Then a senior officer stays.
Let go.
Hiring.
Which, like when Mike was told, when he applied and got the job. Through a tedious interview process, he was told on conditions of taking the job, hey, this is a grant position. If for some reason, you could at any time, a senior officer will component you from this position if there's layoffs and we lose that funding for that position, then that office, the most senior officer would. And right now, the structure goes me, Travis, Michael, and then whoever comes in. That's the way the seniority goes in the department. So it would just, so if Travis didn't make it in his 12-month probation, he'd be bumped down back to a regular patrol officer. And then that grant position would pay for it essentially. And then unfortunately that new hire would be out of a job. But knowing when they're coming in, hey, this is a 5-year position that you could lose if we need for seniority.
Or a 12-month.
Or a 12-month position. Yeah, it's in town. And 12 months from now, if our current chief doesn't make probation, he'll fill this spot, and unfortunately, we'll have to let you go. So, and that's just kind of part of playing the seniority game. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. I personally think we're going to be good a year from now. We just want a shot to prove it. I mean,
So
actions speak louder than words. And anything, with everything we're saying as a group, we're putting ourselves out there. So if we don't do it, then that's going to make us look bad, and that's going to soil our reputation. So I'm putting my reputation on the line for this man.
I'm going off of what you guys told me and said you'd do for this town.
Yeah, and unfortunately, guys, we can't fill everybody in on it. The only person we can is the mayor. The city council, but
Not that.
but not some of the stuff, because it's law enforcement, sensitive intel. But
And like I told these guys too, is I don't want to know all the information that they need to know. I don't want the problem of, okay, somebody said something. So then it comes back at me that I knew about it or somebody knew about it. So I'm fine with certain things that they know that I don't know. I don't want to know until it's already done. I do know what they expressed, what they want to do with this town.
was acting of an extremely competent city attorney that is cleaning up.
That was a big one. 12 months, I
That
think.
cleaning up the previous city attorney's mess. And once we get back to square one, I just had a conversation with him last night. Once we get back to square one and he's done cleaning up the mess he's inherited from our former city attorney, we're gonna hit the ground running and Levi likes convictions. And we at the city level, we'll start seeing a bit more prosecution because we have a go-getter as a city attorney, which is great for us. And it's just gonna help us do our job and do it better. So, I mean, like I said, it's a year. I'm so confident we'll be good. If he leaves, I'll go with him.
So with the hiring, with those interviews, what was the recommendation of that job?
They just gave the two officers that would be good for the qualifications of it, and when it come down to the interview panel.
That's what I was saying, not the
No, it's
commission.
not commission, no, this commission ain't recommending no way.
So I was
This
saying
is
that during those.
Six people that came in, did the interviews, chose two and said they were good, put it on me to choose.
That's not really true.
That's what it was.
I was there.
Yeah, I know you were part of the interview board,
Yeah.
you were part of it. Nobody made a decision on which officer to go with.
No, we chose two.
Two.
We
Yeah,
chose two.
but there was.
Now the other one's
I
not.
choose which one I wanted out of those two.
That's not how I remember it. I remember the panel.
Lean
decided
towards
to
one.
Lean, yes, to offer the job to the other guy. And nothing against Travis, but that other
And,
guy.
and there's
is-
been no feedback or
highly
response, so he's not,
Okay, so that's new
Yes.
information.
that's,
For me.
yes.
Well, the feedback was when he did call back times there and asked about the position.
I don't know anything about
Yeah.
what
He just asked about the area, what the area was. We had a discussion on price. He was told that in the beginning what the price was, you know, for
the-
wages and stuff, so. I mean, he was good with that. So, I mean, he was. I'm choosing
But he has,
for Travis.
he has said he's no longer interested or what?
No, there's not been nothing saying he's not interested. He called up and asked about the position. I get this has been a little while ago, because there was another position coming up that he could apply.
So he is still interested.
I haven't talked to him in a little while, so no, I don't know if he's interested anymore.
So the last you heard though, he was looking into another position,
Yeah.
is what you said, correct?
Another chief position.
Okay.
So why are we not following the recommendation from the hiring?
Well, we
panel?
are, aren't we?
It's
Going with
Yeah.
there's two people.
The mayor chose his the person he wants to be.
Out of
The mayor can, I guess, whatever he wants, but the hiring panel did make a recommendation.
Can I say something about it?
Yes.
When I was working at the sheriff's department, I've sat on a lot of hiring boards and there, we would pick together as a board who we wanted, but the undersheriff got the final say. So if we said we want this guy and the undersheriff said, no, we want that guy, he got the final say. Now I know you guys get the final say or whatever, but Chuck picked who he picked.
Well, Chuck can recommend who he wants to
Go ahead.
recommend. I'm just curious as to why that would be different than the hiring panel's recommendation.
Sure.
The police commission needed a post application from every applicant in order to do their process. I sent that post application to the other candidates and got no reply. Asked him, I told him it was required in order to continue in the process. I haven't heard from him.
Okay, that is.
That's your answer right there.
Right.
Can't get a post.
Weeks.
So no post application, how was he qualified by the commission? Because the commission.
They went through the application that he sent in. All the information he sent in on the beginning for him.
Resume
And then you gotta reach back
And
out to
and
me.
his.
I'll tell you, the guy overseeing 1,000 people under him.
I came to the
Definitely,
state.
he's retired, he was retired already too.
I didn't have him on tip. I had California Post.
So
I had to.
That guy was retired.
He was, he was retired and he's living off retirement, but he also
works, because the one thing that we were talking about today, whoever, if they were gonna hire, if you guys were gonna hire outside, that, I don't know if that person understands that they gotta be a working chief, not just an admin, chief. And so he's gotta be out there, pulling over, cars and get DUIs and stuff, so he has to go back to our academy, learn Montana law, go be, certified for DUIs and stuff like that, so I don't know if he's aware of what he has to do to come up.
You just don't.
Industry.
Yeah, and.
No, he was aware of certain obligations he had to do, and there was another obligation. It was gonna take up to 3 weeks for him to be debriefed. And that's national
For his-
security
his-
for his position that he's at. So I guess it would take up to 3 weeks to debrief him before he could even come.
Like I said, this is just a shot we're asking for Travis. It's a year. Before you know it, you'll blink an eye, the year's gonna be gone. We'll be sitting this time next year very rapidly. Before you know, it's gonna be Christmas and then we'll be approaching summer again. We'll get through winter. I mean, it's
Is that our power outage?
not yet, but so winter, we're kicking it up. Early.
So I'm gonna ask for the second of the police chief for Travis on a 12-month probationary.
Alright.
At the end of the 12 months probationary period, if Travis doesn't live up to our expectations, we go out again for a new chief position. And then with the grant that's coming up, the 4th officer will know as he's being hired. That that his job would be determined with his 12 months.
So do we have a second or not?
That's what I asked for.
I didn't hear that.
I second it.
I second it too.
Yeah.
Did you put Katie through this?
No.
Katie was appointed and there was no argument between council.
With less than a year of experience in law enforcement.
Not
Together.
following procedure.
Yeah.
She had
Follow procedure.
quality skills for.
And we did.
Her administration from dispatching, but she hadn't even been a cop for a year, but she was given the job. No question, that's
So this is the only one you've got, Amy?
He's the one that I'm recommending. We're not for sure if the other one isn't sitting out there ready to come or not. The last time it was shared, John Holmes. Yeah.
So
we're doing that's fine. So, yes, job listed, he would have answered it in 3 weeks. And
He has a problem getting his phone certificate.
he moved on, he's picked something else, but if you still wanted this position, he would have answered that email. That's just, let's, everybody that's in the workforce knows that's just the truth. You're not gonna not answer the email for something as pertinent as the post application, which is a simple, takes you 30 seconds to fill out the information on it. And I mean, it's simple.
Like a 30-second call.
He was, everybody,
Keeping up on everything else, MHP can contact me, I have to contact them, I will meet you here tomorrow.
So Chuck, if there's no second, is there a second? How long do we beat this to death?
Yeah, how long do we beat this to death?
I'm gonna ask for a motion to adjourn right now, and Travis will stay the chief.
I'll
Yeah,
second that.
chief right now.
So are we gonna be stuck another 12 months because the council won't back up what the city wants? Is that what I'm understanding?
No, we don't do this every month.
Me what you want?
But an officer cannot be hired until the.
Yeah, can you do it? So you're gonna be shorthanded now, until somebody here has the balls to step up and say, I'm with you, Travis. I believe in you and we'll get this done.
I'm only obligated to work 12 hours a day. And I'm at the point right now with all the overtime. Travis has a vacation, Michael has a vacation scheduled. I'm staring down the barrel of another 120-hour pay period.
I've been averaging that.
I by contract, I am obligated for 12 hours a day and I am that close to that's what I'm gonna do. No more. That's where I'm at. And you can't touch me, you can't fire me for it, because I am protected by the contract, but that's where I'm at. So, when he's on vacation and he's on vacation, who's gonna watch? When I'm only gonna work, and I'm gonna keep my regular days off, and I'm not gonna come in and do anything extra.
So what are
I
we
have
supposed
worked,
to do as business owners?
I have worked so much, I am burned out. This has been 3 months of one of the longest summers we've ever had in this town. I am top.
Morale.
The most time I've spent with my family in 3 months was when I was injured and put down by a dog. Stop seeing me walking in my slimmed out. That's the most time I spent with my family in 3 months was because I was injured. And we have this, we can fix all of this right now, and if you don't like it in 12 months, canon. It's that simple, that's where we're at. But we'll never know, if he doesn't get the shot.
Chuck, am I hearing that Shauna and Jamie and TJ are not willing to second the motion?
That's what you're hearing.
They don't have a reason why either.
We do have a reason. We
Fuck.
can't disclose our reason, but we do have a reason.
What is it?
They can't say yes.
There's transparency.
I can't control the mayor or another council does. Can I finish? Can I finish talking? I have my reasons. I can't disclose them, but we have a protocol and we have information that we've been newly provided with. So I'm not comfortable making a decision with the information that I'm sitting on. You can disagree or agree, but that's my conviction. I'm a homeowner and a business owner, and I have just as much stake in the city as everybody else.
So what makes
So
you?
I have the floor right now. I have my reasons for it, and I'm not comfortable right now with this information I was just provided. Does that mean in a week or a month when this is revisited, I'll feel the same way? No, but I have information that I would like clarified before I make this call.
Are you concerned about morale?
I am concerned about morale, but I'm also concerned about a public safety issue that I need to have addressed.
So put the officers through this again is cool with you?
Okay, you know what?
So they're poor families.
I'm going here.
There's no names.
Yeah.
There's no names.
They're poor families.
So we gotta clarify something. So you have information that you're holding.
So do you.
From
You provided
every
the
year.
email also, Chuck. Don't pretend like you don't know.
When did we get this email? Because I didn't get an email today at all. I've been sitting there. Scott tried to call me and talk to me and I couldn't, and Scott knows the area that I was at.
You were the first person on that email.
The power is out. Let's send an email for
I got the state of Montana, city.
I'm showing you the email you want to see.
Well, I'm looking for the email on my phone.
Unrelated to the.
yeah, this short.
Okay, that's right. So that's a lot.
You can scroll to the bottom here, or you can see what I did.
Sorry, says that all through this.
Well, three of you guys.
When I leave here, I'm done with politics. I'm gonna do something else.
Okay, this I did get contacted with, and I did.
Chuck, just time off for 1 sec. So if we should.
We already had this discussion
So-
on that one.
Okay, so just, we're in a public meeting, that email pertains to privacy. If we.
Travis, would you have a problem with what we talked about on a deal a while back on a search?
Oh, no, go ahead.
No,
Travis and I have talked about this. This has been gone through. On this. Travis, you wanna explain what we're talking about? I know you know what we're talking about.
Could you refresh my memory just?
no names, no names.
No names, yeah, the search that ended up not being a total search at the time, explain that.
Yeah, okay,
And why they were taken in.
okay. So we had information on or we had a warrant on a certain individual in town who was a big drug player. And we wanted to go arrest him, and we were told to stand down. We were told by the sheriff's department, we were told to stand down for a year. And we knew this guy had a warrant, and we wanted to go get him. I get a call at the end of my shift where the sheriff's department called me, the lead drug detective. Hey, this guy's sitting out in front of the post office. We want him now. I said, okay. He said, make sure he does not pass anything off because we're looking for drugs. I said, okay. So Michael came on shift. This guy's potentially dangerous. So we both go up there, and he has a cell phone in his hand. And I did a quick scan of him because sometimes he has a gun. He had nothing on his outside there. And so we grabbed him, we put him in cuffs, and he said, I want to go hand my cell phone off. I said, no, because I figured there's potential evidence on that cell phone for drug stuff. I figured the detectives wanted that. And he said, well, my cell phone belongs to so-and-so. Can I go get it back to him? So I got a hold of that individual. I said, do you have a cell phone that this person has that belongs to you? He said, yes. I said, can we just book it into the jail? He gave me permission to do so. We put this individual in the back of my patrol car, and in the process of trying to deal with the phone, I forgot pat searching. And that's a thing that it was a mistake that I've never made before, but I was focused on the phone. On the way over there, he was cuffed in front, and because he's cooperating with us, and that's our prerogative. The sheriff's department does it. A lot of people do it.
It's officer discretion.
It's officer discretion. And so he reached in his pockets and he pulled out a bunch of stupid stuff, like some change and some lint and whatever, and stuck it in the door. We have dash cam footage of it and everything. Well, I take him into the sheriff's department, and the way the jail works, and I know this because I worked in there for 17 years, is when an inmate is brought into the cell, they're searched in the Sally Port, the pockets go through, they're supposed to have their hair gone through, they're supposed to have their mouth searched, they're supposed to have their shoes off and everything. Then they go into the dress out room, and in the dress out room, they have to strip completely down and squat, cough, whatever, and make sure that they don't have anything on them. And then they get dressed out in all jail uniform, jail underwear, jail socks, jail everything. And then they go from there, and then they go into a booking room. They get booked in, and they get put into a cell. So they took this individual into the jail. They didn't search his hair. They didn't search his mouth. They didn't search anything except for pat search him, took him into the dress out room, let him dress out, took him into the booking room, and then decided, open your mouth for us. And he wouldn't open his mouth. So they thought he had something in his mouth, and at that point, they should have put him in an isolation cell and monitored him the rest of the night. But they didn't. They put him in general population. Or they should have taken him over to the hospital, one of the two, according to our policies there. So they put him in general population. The next day, I get a call from the drug detective, and Chuck got a call from the sheriff saying, your boy screwed up because you put him in the back of the car without searching him. He took drugs in there, and now he's high as a kite. That was 2:30 the next day. So I questioned the drug detective. I said, wait a minute. How did he get out of the Sally Port without getting his mouth searched, the dress out room without getting his mouth searched? And then they thought he had something in his mouth in the booking room, and they put him in general population. He goes, that's neither here nor there. He goes, you screwed up. So I went and pulled my dash cam that has the camera in the back seat, the camera facing the road. We watched him all the way over, and not once did he ever put anything in his mouth. Never put anything in his mouth. He pulled out his change and set it in the door. So I got a hold of Levi, and I said, "This is what we did." I said, "My mistake, not pat searching before I put him in the car. I was focused on the phone and making sure he didn't pass off anything. This is what happened." Levi said, okay, so that was a mistake. He goes, but the sheriff's department made a way bigger one by letting him go through all that process and not checking not checking him out. I admitted my part to it. I gave the sheriff's department my body camera footage showing that he had nothing, that he never put anything in his mouth all the way over. That was it. That was the incident.
And I was notified of it, and I brought Travis in, and we talked about it, and he brought all the footage there of what he needed to do and got it together.
And I did it immediately because I told Chuck right from the beginning, I'll always be transparent with him. I'll be transparent with the community. And when they called Chuck, I said, I went right out to my car. I pulled my cameras. This is what it is.
You're a robot.
What's that?
Are you a robot? You're a chip programming?
No, sir.
So you're human.
Yes, sir.
So what you're saying is that you can make a mistake. So in a 20 something, excuse me, year, 24 year track record, you did that once. So again, you're not an android, you're not a robot.
And to be fair, I worked in that jail for 17 years, and I've seen deputies all the time doing making the same mistakes. We had gals that have come in there that have had drugs hidden in places that I cannot mention here. We've had people get drugs in the jail, and back in December. This is before my thing with this arrest here. They had a drug overdose in the jail because someone got drugs in the jail on their watch, not mine.
I could sit here and start naming people out, for mistakes made in the law enforcement community from here to the end of the day, myself included. Not that God, we're not going to do, but we make mistakes. I've been stuck in the jail before where they're like, oh hey, this, and I'm like, oh man, that was
Katie had one. She had one exactly the same way. She cuffed him in the front. She forgot to check him, and that gal hid some drugs in the place, like I said, and they got in the jail. So, and the sheriff's department then was just like, oh hey, it happens. But because I'm running for chief here, it's like, hey, your boy just screwed up, you know.
Mm-hmm. And when it came down, I brought here and get the explanation of what went down.
At the end of the day, it happens nationwide every day. It happens. Things are going to get by an officer. I mean, I'm not going to say. Like I want to say, but if he sneaks contraband in and overdoses, then I think at the end of the day, it's that individual's fault for having the contraband that they either put somewhere they shouldn't have,
or the jail should have let it get in before.
And our main thing is passengers should put them in the car and we're searching weapons and means of escape. That's not.
That's my point.
It just kind of feels like there's powers that out there that are just picking at straws now.
That's so when we pass through somebody, we're checking for weapons. We can't go into their pocket and start pulling out some keys.
Them, no. Okay, so on a different side. I don't know if y'all know this, but I've been arrested a few times in my life.
No.
Okay, and not once have I ever been searched other than my pockets being pulled out. Never have I had a pair of underwear from the jail or a pair of socks. When I went in there, they got my pants, they got my shirt, they gave me orange suit, and I went to the jail cell. Never was I searched like that. Nothing was done like that.
It says we don't search backpacks. We look for weapons. If people don't have weapons on them, we leave what's in their pockets. So it's discovered in detention where there's no search and seizure.
And we have to get a warrant.
I know.
The jail can just.
You don't have a gun. You don't have a knife. That's dope. You go into jail and they find it in there with their search that they have to do. And you don't have that. It's the Fourth Amendment. I don't violate anybody's rights. They find it in the jail. They say, hey, this was in their pockets. They give it to me. I cut them their ticket for the possession of dangerous drugs or whatever it is. So we don't go in backpacks. We don't go. I'll do a quick search through, make sure there's not a gun, a knife, a severed head, whatever in that backpack. But we're not looking for drugs. We're not looking for that because we are super restricted. I go in that pocket and I take that drugs out. Guess what? I just lost those drugs. I can't charge them with those drugs because I took it out of the pocket. So we will leave that kind of stuff in and a search upon arrest, custodial search. They look for that stuff in the jail. They do a greater, more thorough where they don't infringe upon anybody's Fourth Amendment right. That's why we do that. And Travis searched that individual for weapons. And he put him in the back seat, and then he searched his vehicle afterwards, the pocket change and the lint and all of that stuff, lifted up the seats, searched everything, didn't find any other contraband. That's something we do each and every time after we arrest somebody. Go out, we look at our car, we pull our seats out, we make sure they didn't stash anything in there.
And all that's on video.
And all that's on video because we have cameras that well, I mean,
Front
when
and back.
we're driving home, we got one eye on the road and one eye on the camera. So
And I have Michael in the car with me too on that because the guy is potentially dangerous.
at the end of the day, if that's all they have to throw out at him is he potentially possibly missed something like that once. And it's the only time I've ever, if anything, he's one of the most. I arrest people, search them, and when he is backing me up, I'm like, here, Travis, double check him. Just because of his background in the jail, his searching skills are far superior to most from his time in the jail looking for the extra contraband. So, I mean, if someone's sending that's their biggest concern about Travis being the chief of police, well, then I think they need to man or woman up and come in here and say that in public. That's my opinion. But
If that were to happen again, would you cut that person or a person like that behind their back instead?
Yeah, so anytime stuff like that happens, and it happens in the military, TJ could probably attest to that, you know, where you have like an after action report and stuff like that. We do them here too, dispatch did them and everything. Then you go back and you look like, okay, where did I mess up? And then you learn from that because you don't want to do that again. And sometimes we even ask like the county attorneys or the city attorney, like, hey, look my stuff over, see what I did. If I mess something up, let me know, you know, and so we're not above like again, someone pulling me aside and saying, hey, this is what you did. In fact, that same detective that said that he did it, that this guy did this in the back of my car and he didn't. I went to him the following week because I had a different case that I was working on. I think it was a fraud case, and we don't get a whole bunch of fraud cases. So I went to him and said, "Hey, this is what I've done so far. What do you think of what I did here?" He looked it over. He goes, "Yeah, you've done everything right. The only thing I would do is maybe this." I said, "Okay, cool." Went back and finished out my investigation. So yeah, I do. Especially if I arrested that kid again, you know, for sure, you know. But sometimes if we do get somebody like I don't know, I don't want to name names, but you get somebody in town that is not a violent person, they're not a drug user. Let's say, I don't know, you have to pull them, take them to jail. Sometimes, you know, if they're older and they're heavier and they have a hard time getting their hand behind the guy, sometimes we'll go, "Hey, we're cuffing, you know, you're not violent with this or anything. You don't have anything on you, hey, we'll cut in front." Just so they're not like tearing somebody's shoulder or trying to get their arms beat.
Well, like I'm not going to jail for that.
Yeah.
And so the way he was going to go is to cut him in the front.
Well, and then on what we discussed, you know, about it is the cooperation that was going on, is why you cuff them in the front like you do anybody else that's gonna be cooperative.
So has anybody else here have somebody not of great social standing and a criminal come up to their door and knock on it, coming to ask you questions when your family is sitting in the house?
Inside my house.
Yeah, so we deal with that. We have suspects that come. I had one that she was laying in my front yard the same night she set a house on fire. Because the demons told her to lay in my front yard. So
In front of my house.
so what you got is this is a small town. And we have to make decisions whether to cuff somebody up front because we have to keep rapport, even if they're a criminal, with these people, because they are going to be nights at 2:30 in the morning when I'm by myself and they're at home and the sheriff's deputies are on a dam patrol up 37. I'm going to be dealing with these people. I'm going to be dealing with these people by myself long enough for somebody to come back me up. And my ultimate goal, one, is to go home alive, and two, not have to take anybody's life.
And my concern here is I deal with a lot of those same people and I don't have a gun.
But so we arrest people in this community. We take people to jail. People blame us for that. Not people in this room, but the other side that we deal with, they hate us. Most of them would just as soon see us dead or shoot us if they had the opportunity. So we have to make certain decisions. to keep ourselves safe and be able to take these people to jail. While we're out there alone at 2:30, 2:45 in the morning, doing this by ourselves, dealing with these people, 2, 3 of them at the same time in a dope car, or a domestic violence call at 2:45 in the morning when you're by yourself and they're getting one of these guys up out of bed or the closest deputy coming.
So basically, like when you can do stuff like if someone's cooperating, you can say, okay, now I'll handcuff you in front. You wouldn't believe how far that goes sometimes, because then the next time you've got people say, man, you always treat me good.
Yep.
You know, and stuff. All right, you know, someone's didn't have weapons on or whatever, you know, and so you try to work with people, and like I said, it's a small town. I've had guys that I've dealt with, you know, they're just nothing but problems, and then you see them in front of town pump and they're hungry and go buy them a sandwich or something. The next time they see me, they're like, hey, thank you for that, you know, and it's a small town.
He has people that are mentally ill that will only deal with him. The same with him. I have a gentleman that doesn't live far from us, who is my neighbor, who is severely mentally ill and will only deal with me. He's straight out said the only cop in Lincoln County that can come up to my house is Henry. So that's what we in a small town. It's not like a big city where I used to work, where I worked in one and then I drove 45 minutes to another one and I wasn't anywhere near living with people like police. So we have certain things that we have to do and certain reports we have to build. So like I said, if that mistake was made, at the end of the day, it's not just on him. If that individual did have something on their person, the jail 100% should have discovered it, because they did not put it in their mouth in our police vehicle, because we still have the video to prove that.
I get it.
So that did not happen to the Charlotte Police Department vehicle.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you guys, I appreciate everything you do. So where are we at here? I mean, is it deadlocked? Are we gonna stay here till 10 o'clock beating this to death, or what? Where are we at?
Let's please just make the decision so we can hire a fourth officer, get our lives back to normal and get going, and and get back to business as usual. Folks, I mean, like it's a year. If you don't like it, then he won't be chief in a year. Maybe that guy will be interested in the job then. Maybe there'll be another super qualified candidate. Maybe we can talk out into coming back. I don't know, probably not, but let's just please just give him this opportunity so we can hit the ground running, get somebody in. I'm tired, he's tired, Mike is tired. The people our citizens of Troy deserve us fresh and policing fresh, not overtired. I mean, a tired officer is can be a very complacent officer, and that leads to death. Doesn't matter where we are, where you police. I'll tell you, there's equally as dangerous people here as there is in Kalispell. We're tired. We're burned out. We want to get this done. Hire a fourth. Get back to being police staff. Hopefully by Christmas, depending if we get a post-certified candidate, we just want some normalcy back in our life. My wife would like some normalcy back in our life. I don't mean to sound selfish. I know it's the same for these guys, but
So there was a question put on the table that, that was responded to. So does that change anything as far as for folks?
I have one more question. What would the evaluation process be over the 12 months?
Said he's doing his job and things are changing.
Well, like, I mean, what?
Like you
Just
just
they're
gonna
that
be
makes
cheap.
the match.
You'll
Oh, that's the same town.
That's it. We live in a very small town, and if they do what they're talking about doing,
We should see
guaranteed
change.
it's gonna be
in the council. It's not just
It's already been on the city council.
It's not just tickets that we write. I mean, there's some shifts where, I could pull traffic all day, and there's some where I'm shagging calls, and then next thing you know, something's going on in county, and I have dispatch asking me to go out. It's not just me, all of us go out and be the first on scene for a domestic in the county, because there's bad stuff going on there. These are coming just from south of Libby. So not only are we handling our business here, but we are aiding and backing up the sheriff's department, and gladly we're doing that. I think this is the best interagency cooperation I've seen with the sheriff's department since Alan Dye was chief.
The head dispatcher of the sheriff's office, some of his best, she feels our departments work with the sheriff's office.
So there's sometimes, like we're coming up on our time where you know what, we can run radar pretty much our whole shift when the white stuff hits and pull people over. But we also have calls for service. And then we have to, in between this, go upstairs, get our reports done because we have the county attorney or the city attorney saying, I need discovery on this, this, and that. So in between everything, we're going upstairs, we're putting together these cases where it's not just easy. I mean, you have to launch all your body cam video, right? Or do this, that, and the other. So there's because our reports, we have to be very careful, because if we put something that's true, we just perjure ourselves. So it's a very fine, it takes a while. So if for an assault, for me personally, I put about 2.5, 3 hours into that report, watching I'll watch, boom, 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 and then I'll type. I'll go back, I'll watch my video, I'll type. And then in the middle of that report, I might have to get up and leave it because I just got a call for this or for that. So this is where we're at. We're tired, and I just want to be able to hire a fourth officer. I think we'll get some. We know several guys that are post-certified that have expressed interest in the job, which would be a blessing if we could get somebody post-certified in. We could shorten up the FTO period and just get them hopping right away. Like I said, it's a year, guys. A year's not that long. If he doesn't make it happen, if we not him, we, because we're right here with you, whoever we bring in as a fourth, if you make it, then just change things and open it up. I mean, just give us a shot to prove we know we can do it. And at the end of the day, who better suited to police Troy than us? I mean, when have you ever seen a community come behind a police department like they have? That does not happen too often. I mean, especially in this day and age, it's usually the total opposite. We're not heavy-handed, we're not rogue. Travis is definitely not rogue. He's probably one of the most patient men I've ever met in my life, and fair. That's right. Please just give him the shot so we can do this. Scott made the right call. Thank you, Scott. Somebody second, guys, just vote him in, give us a shot. Like I said, if he doesn't make it, I'll leave with him. You will see a difference in what you're already seeing in the council reports. You'll see a difference. Like I said, especially with now we have a very great city attorney. We have somebody helping us make things happen, getting warrants for certain things. So give him a shot back, please. I mean, I've been here 11 years, guys. I've given 11 years to this city.
No, me and Paul are leaving. We're headed to Fleet Cities. This is gonna be one of my training classes. This right here.
I've been here 11 years. I've dedicated 11 years of my life to this department. I've stayed here. I don't want to go anywhere. All I'm asking is for a little bit of and this flesh. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah. So we're leaving.
So are there other problems other than this email holding you guys back?
So I'll ask one more time for a motion to accept Travis as the chief of police with a 12-month probationary period. If the council does not like what Travis is doing, I will let Travis, I guess not let him go, but demo.
I'm gonna have the same motion that we pointed for 12 months probationary period and see if you can make a change.
And Henry, you know as well as I know, when it comes down to disciplinary action, it doesn't matter who it is.
No, absolutely not. If I did something out of line, this man would discipline me. Relationship aside, he would discipline me. Just like if it came down to it, and I had to, relationship aside, I would discipline him. Because at the end of the day, it's an integrity thing, and no man on this department would do anything to disgrace our badge. It's just not how we operate. So 100%, if I screwed up, he would hold me accountable. 100%.
So it sounds like there was a concern with the emails, now that that's been addressed.
So my question is, who is going to decide whether during that 12-month period that, yes, he's up to standard, no, he's not? Is that just you and you alone or collectively?
On that,
Conversation, an honest conversation, because you didn't tell us about any of that, which I feel like, given the fact that we were in the middle of this process, that would have been information that should have been shared.
that email, no, what that was not information that was to be out.
Honestly, if the IBW found out somebody shared that information
Yes.
with anybody but the mayor, our union would have a field day with that, honestly.
That's why I.
Of that.
Yeah, or the Police Officer Protective Association, if they found out about that was sent out.
That's why Chuck asked me to
Yeah.
explain.
That would be,
So who sent the
that would
email?
be a pretty serious issue.
I never got it.
I don't know, I got a call from the sheriff's department when it went down.
She got an email.
And told him.
Jamie said she got an email.
And asked him to come into the office and explain this to me. We sat down, it was explained what went on, he went and got camera footage of it and made sure it wasn't on him. It wasn't, and he even admitted it was partially his fault because he handcuffed him in the front, but there was a reason why he did that.
So my question is, Jamie just said she got an email. So how did she get an email about an officer?
Somebody trying to change.
And that was a couple months ago, so.
Planned outage for tonight, everybody, been canceled. We're out of power until who knows when. Bonneville's out and affecting everyone from Libby all the way to San Juan.
Wow. Okay.
Get to work. See no power and see no weather. What's happening?
Oh, yeah, what's that? General knowledge, pretty dispatches.
So that was my question, is how was an email sent to a city council?
I think it's council oversee this as an honest, loyal council.
So we can definitely do progress reports and have him do it. And what I asked him to do on his department report is to add that in there, of the arrests he's made, the assists he's made, all that. If you look at all the other
Let's see some
council
progression.
reports from our officers for the last 3 years, none of that was in there. That's in there now because I asked Travis to put it in there so everybody can see it. And that's what I asked him to be the chief. So it's not a problem with having the council decide if we want to do a progress report every 3 months, every 4 months, or in 12 months. The council can have their say, and if he has done a better job at being a chief than
6 isn't good enough.
It's just me.
Yeah.
I need to see progress. We need to see something happen.
Transparency, that's my concern. Transparency, if you will be honest with us.
But that email, I couldn't tell you that. I couldn't have it because he said.
I need to know who sent it to her.
From here on out, will you be transparent with us? If you didn't have to give all the details, but you could have just let us know. Just so you guys are aware, there was this issue that came up, it was explained, we're good.
So on the disciplinary actions, it's on that, that's not your guys' thing, is to know all that, or closed doors. He's not the first one, we've had disciplinary actions, Henry, and also I've had other people that have had disciplinary actions and been on probation for it. They've accomplished their probationary period of that, it was fine, nothing was said anymore after that. And that's, if it was to come out, then there would be more action that I would have had to take on a couple different actions, and you guys would have all known about it because it would have been a fire.
Yeah, so that's how it works with us. The mayor and the chief handle the discipline. And then if it becomes a fireable offense, it goes before the city council and then it's voted on for termination. That's how our contract reads. So.
And nothing comes out to you guys unless they choose to have it come out until it comes down to it.
Unless it's a fireable offense,
Yes.
yeah.
I can't just go, hey, this person's done this and.
Because then he's opening up that I've heard you, the IBEW.
Looking at a lawsuit
Yeah.
from the union. And it's just rules that you gotta follow. I don't know all. I don't. But I do know enough of that that I had to ask Travis if he would explain it.
So can I ask again how that email got to a city councilman?
So,
I'm not going to divulge that.
Okay.
Well, I have every right said to me.
And then subpoena.
I asked a question, I did not expect it to be discussed in public. So I'm not gonna be satisfied with that. I had a valid question.
Yeah.
That I didn't advocate that for me.
The question she had.
It is a fair question. It is. Thank you.
So we've talked about the 12-month probationary period. Talked about doing kind of evaluation
yes.
check every so often. Since it does fall into the evaluation is probably a gray area, we try and maybe clarification on it. That would have to be a closed door meeting between the council.
in the police.
And it's not a disciplinary, it's just, it is, and Travis wanted representation there, and he would be entitled. So, to float the idea by is maybe at the end of our business meeting, we close the meeting down and have a 5-minute evaluation, catch up.
Just
Every month, what do you think?
That's a wonderful. Every month, I finish. So Henry, we've just continued for a long time tonight, so please let us. So that gives us the ability to, if something is going on, it's not, we're waiting 3 months to address it. It's every month, and if there's no issues, there's nothing to talk about, we close the meeting, we're done, and we go home. If there's something to talk about, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
So
I'm good
that's
with that.
just my suggestion, but I think we probably need to.
Talk to MMIA.
Yes.
Make sure that we're not
Yes.
in trouble for it.
Yes.
Definitely.
That
Would you guys have a problem with that?
No.
The three of you guys, would you have problems coming in, doing a private meeting, getting out? Okay. Okay.
That's why I started putting all that stuff at the bottom of the report, so you guys can see exactly how many calls for service we have, how many agency assists we have. I can add more, whatever you guys are looking for, you know, that I'm allowed to divulge.
And that's,
I think that'd be a great thing.
and that's definitely what, when we had our discussion, that's what he started doing. We never had that for the 3 years before that. We did have, I'm not saying nothing bad about nobody on that. They did come in and explain certain things that were going on. But Travis has been putting it down for you guys to see, to show you that there is somewhat of a change.
Work in progress.
For our closed meeting, you guys don't get to know about that till they choose that it can go, that you can know about it. But I mean, I just say, assume, do your actions first. And then you can prove is all in the actions. And if you guys are okay with doing a closed door meeting with the council and myself, Paula, Shara, anybody that wants, is part of the department, I'm good with that. So that, Mike? It's all good with
I
that.
believe it should be council and Travis. Shara's that would not.
No, I always look at her. She's very helping us out a lot right now.
Make sure. You know, you need to make a. Yeah,
I am
very
very
sensitive.
Just, no, you're very.
We know there's specific rules around it and we need to vet it out. And so you would need to ask for a motion to approve Travis as the interim chief on a 12-month probationary period. Pending the vetting of the monthly closed door meetings. Does that make sense?
The same thing I motioned 5 times.
Okay.
No,
I'm getting a wording tonight, so I'm not on legal term the wording of it, but. Okay, I'll ask for a motion to accept Travis is the chief of police on a 12-month probationary period with a monthly progress report to the council in a closed door meeting after our main council meetings.
That has to be vetted by MNIA.
Yes, we'll talk to MS to make sure it's all legal. If you would like to talk to your union rep to make sure this is all legal.
We'll reach out to George.
Do that so we can understand about you. In case something comes up. We can look at the issue and then determine later, I guess. I definitely don't have.
I'm gonna make a motion that we appoint Travis. And then we need to.
Well, I have it
Stated.
Okay, Jamie seconds. Do I have? All in favor? Thank you. Travis, these guys. Don't let me down.
Yeah.
Please.
No, sir.
Okay, I'm now for a minute to adjourn this meeting. Hold on.
They like when, if anyone's heading towards the state line, the storm's coming this way, it's getting really bad. My wife actually pulled over Bonners because the storm was so bad, so just to let anyone have. That
Be
was
safe.
So, yeah.
Any, I guess we can.
Do you have any old business? No.
Yes,
No.
not whole business, but, comments, not on the agenda.
Sorry, I can't. Okay, so
If not, then we can ask for.
public matters not on the agenda.
If you're still here, God bless you.
Thank you. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting? Jamie makes one. Let's go. Yes, we're done.
Settle those down.
Thank you, guys.
Michael, whatever the question is.